Welcome to another session with me, and this is African poetry. And today we're looking at North African poetry. We'll consider the background to North African poetry, and we'll look at the historical, cultural, religious, and literary foundations that surround North African poetry. Our objectives are to explain the historical background to North African poetry, to consider the religious influences, some of the major themes in North African poetry, and then look at major poets, popular poets from North African poetry. North African poetry includes countries such as Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and Sudan. The region has a rich poetic tradition shaped by African, Arab, Islamic, Berber, and Mediterranean influences. Poetry has historically been a major form of artistic, political, and spiritual expression. The religious and cultural influences that have shaped the poetry from Northern Africa will now be considered. Islam strongly shaped poetic forms and themes for poetries from this region. The Sufi traditions encourage mythical and spiritual poetry, while oral traditions from Berber and indigenous communities influenced reading and storytelling. The poetry here often reflects family, honor, hospitality, and communal identity. These are all reflections of the cultural and religious influences that have shaped poetry from North Africa. We will now look at the languages of North African poetry. Languages here refers to the classical Arabic. We, we find that classical Arabic remains a dominant literary language. Local dialects such as Daraja, Amazi are widely used. French language poetry emerged during and after colonial rule. Multilingualism allows poets to express hybrid identities. These four major languages influence the poetry coming from North Africa. We find that, once again, let me recap. The classical Arabic remains a dominant literary language, and then we have the local dialects such as Daraja, Darija, and Amazigh are widely used. French also is used in some of the poetry as a result of the colonial rule, and then we have multilingualism, which allows poets to express some of their poems from hybrid identities. We will now move forward to consider major themes from North African poetry. What are the major themes of North African poetry? We have identity and cultural heritage, which seems to resonate with most African countries. We have colonialism and resistance, which is also a reflection of colonial rule and how the people of the state fought for their freedom and gained their independence, the issues that happened during that period, and how the people moved beyond colonialism. Then we have religion and spirituality. Most of these poems depict elements of religion and spirituality in them. We also have themes of love, exile, migration, and displacement, which is a rhetoric for most of the themes that surround Africa poetry as a whole. Then we also have political oppression and freedom. All these major themes also are rhetorics or can be seen in other African poetry region themes. They kind of resonate and share identity with other parts of Africa when it comes to major themes. We now look at the features and styles that we can see in most North African poetry. The first one I want to consider is the use of symbolism, metaphor, and imagery. Then there is strong musicality and oral performance in the poems. There is a blend of classical and modern poetic forms, and then we have experimentation with free verse in contemporary poetry. All of this is just a way to let you know that poetry from North Africa also shares similarities with other poems coming from other regions in Africa. We'll now take a step further and consider notable poets from this region. We have Mahmoud Darwish, whose poem focused mainly on themes of exile and homeland. We have Nizar Kibani, which themes focus more on love and politics. We have Tahir Bekir, who is a Tunisian poet writing in Arabic and French. We also have Muhammad Dib, an Algerian literary voice against colonialism. These major poets have written poems that reflect the identity and the issues that are ongoing in most North African states. We'll now look at the influence of modern development on North African poetry. The first thing we have to consider is that contemporary poets address issues of globalization, migration, and social justice. Likewise, digital media and spoken word poetry are becoming popular. Women poets increasingly challenge gender norms and patriarchy. And then North African poetry continues to gain global recognition. In conclusion, I would like to you to consider that North African poetry reflects a blend of history, religion, culture, and politics, and it serves as a voice for identity, resistance, and artistic creativity. Not only that, the tradition remains dynamic and influential in the world of literature. Let's now move on to some of the tasks that you will have to do after watching this video. They are quite simple, short answers that you can just go back, watch the video again to get your answer. We say mention three countries that are part of North Africa. Two, explain two major historical events that influenced North African poetry. Three, identify two languages commonly used in North African poetry. 4. Discuss two major themes found in North African poetry. And 5. Explain the role of religion in shaping North African poetry. I hope you got all of that, and I hope to see your answers in the comment section. Until then, bye for now.